talk about that.
It's dark down here.
It's quite...
First of all, I have to say big thank you to the guys at SOS for setting this up, because it was not planned, but it was very welcome. So let me just grab some questions here. Hope this technology works. So, Steve, just a quick...
those pictures.
Yeah, the pictures are there, but something has happened to my... Ah, there you go. Right. Back. Just a brief synopsis, in case you don't know who Steve Levine is. He's a Grammy and Brit Award winning producer, author, public speaker, involved with PRS as well, I believe.
And just recently re-elected as well.
There you go, fantastic. And of course, famously known for your work with Culture Club, Beach Boys, China Crisis, Gary Moore, and many others.
And The Mood.
So, your experience with the Fairlight, when did it start?
It started with the Series 2, with Psychosystems. I'd been an early adopter and had one of the very first Lindrum machines in the UK, and so my original setup was Lindrum to do the drums, and I used a Roland MC4 and a few analog synths at the time. And as you say, the holy grail of, well, these drum sounds are really good. It enabled me to do demos in places that were not normal studios, so I could kind of up my game. And like everybody, I'd heard about the Peter Gabriel, and the Fairlight, and so my relationship was slightly different, because I was starting doing some demos for EMI Records, and I just started doing the demos for Culture Club at EMI Studios, not Abbey Road, the studio that's in Manchester Square. And it's a really interesting set of circumstances. So we were working on the first track, and I was also working with another artist called Honey Bain, who was a punk artist. And I wanted some trumpets on the track. It's funny you play that for, because we have a very similar sample. That actually isn't one of mine, but some of them were mine. And so Julian Lindsay was the keyboard player with Honey Bain, and he said, I know a great trumpet player. And I said, well, what has he done? He said, well, he's just done Teardrop Explode. So if you remember Reward, that is one person, Terry Bailey, playing all those trumpets. So I said, yeah, that's a good sound. Let me get that down. So Terry came and played trumpet. And Julian said, I need to introduce you to my friend Michael Kelly, because they were all from Bath and the Bristol area. Michael Kelly's setting up this new company called Psycho with Peter Gabriel and Stephen Payne. They're going to have the Fairlight. So Julian was the one that introduced me to Michael Kelly and Stephen Payne, and it's coincided with the start of Culture Club's career going up, and therefore me getting some money. You mentioned the price. My first flat in London was £19,000, and my first Fairlight was £28,000. So actually it was. So the thing about the Fairlight was that, as I discovered with the Lindrum, I mean, there was still only of the Lin 1. There were only 500 of those ever made in the entire world, and I still have mine. I don't have my Fairlight anymore, but the point about the Fairlight is that the turnover was so fast. So in order to have an edge on your competitors, I needed to invest in the Fairlight. And of course, having the Fairlight, for me, one of the most important things, not just the ability to sample, because essentially we were still analog recording. It was 24 track at that point, although it moved to 48 soon after. It was the ability to use Page R as a sequencer, and we used that an awful lot. And on many of the Culture Club recordings, we would do some basic elements with John, because the great thing about John, which I only discovered so much later, was John Moss, the drummer in Culture Club, was a phenomenally tight drummer. Most drummers today are really tight, but in those days it was quite hard. And I remember doing the first few things with him, and it was seamless between samples, programming, and playing. And the first time it dawned on me how good John was and how that didn't work was just before I worked with The Mood. I was also asked to work with Kajagoogoo, who did their demos. And they said, we love the sound you're getting with all this programming. So I thought, well, this is kind of how I do it. And with the greatest respect, their drummer wasn't John Moss. And the first session really did sound like somebody throwing cutlery down the stairs. Right. It was just so out of time. And you realise that one of the reasons some of my records sounded so good was because those musicians understood the technology in a way that most of this generation today do understand. Yeah. But in those days, it was quite new.
We've got a seminar in about an hour's time. Yep, which is really interesting. It uses tape, and that's kind of early sampling. So thank you very much. Can I just give you one